Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevin-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about appropriate documentation to support your coding. Before I get started, just as a friendly reminder, please check out my website, www.integralclinicsolutions.com, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All right, so documentation to support your coding. Yes, very, very important, especially if you're using modifiers in your coding to help show that you offered and provided services that were separate and identifiable from one another. That means that you used maybe a modifier 25 or a modifier 59. I know there's other modifiers out there. Again, I'm not a coding specialist, but I do know that anytime you're going to try to bill for services that are separate and identifiable on the same data service, on the same claim, that you have to have the documentation to support that. That means if you have an evaluation and management code and then you do a procedure, there are insurances out there that no matter how good you document, how well you code, they're never going to cover it in the same data service. It's just the way it is. But hopefully you have found those payers, you've identified those, and you've been able to let patients know that. So either they can choose to move forward with having that service in addition to the office visit on the same day, and they're willing to pay out of pocket for that, or they decide to reschedule for the second part of that visit, maybe the procedure itself, for a different data service so that they will be covered. If they decide to do it in the same day and you're billing the insurance, well, actually, now that I think about it, no matter what, your documentation should be thorough. So take this as you should always have supporting documentation. It should always be good. So it should be one of those things that you don't skimp on, because if you were to get audited, you don't want to have to give money back to the insurance if they don't find the support for what they paid you based on what you billed for. So this is being stressed for those multiple services being billed in one visit, but at the same time, you should be documenting thoroughly no matter what. But if you're offering multiple services in one visit and you want to get them covered, it's really important that you do a very thorough evaluation and management, which means that you do the thorough evaluation. You document what you checked. You document the results of the checks. You explain why you decided to do the procedure, what in that evaluation is coming back abnormal or not as expected for a healthy person and drove you to make the decision to do that procedure. If you're doing a trigger point injection and osteopathic manipulation treatment, there's so many different things, right? What in your physical evaluation and the report from the patient come together that led you to wanting to treat the patient in this way? Did they have a lack of range of motion, and exactly what was their range of motion, like in measurements? Where was their pain? What was the level of their pain? You know, very specific details. And then after you do the procedure, documenting the results that they got right away. Obviously, some results are going to be down the road, like trigger point injections. Usually people feel the relief from the numbing medicine before that prednisone kicks in, because that takes a few days. But maybe from the numbing, you can document that they did have, you know, immediate relief from the pain. From the OMM or osteopathic manipulation treatment, you can say that they got more range of motion in whatever you treated. Documenting exactly what regions you treated, right? Like being very specific, 6-7 cervical. If it's multiple locations, all of those. Maybe you note less muscle spasm. You know, whatever your medical training is in this situation, you want to make sure that you're showing the reason why in detail and then the results to show that it helped. And maybe it didn't help. Maybe this is a step edit you're having to do in order to be able to move forward with maybe some imaging or something like that. But at least documenting whatever the outcome is super important. You have to remember that any layer of coding that you give, whether it's one E&M code or an E&M and a procedure code, or E&M code with a medication administration, whatever it is, you want to make sure you're supporting the reason why it was ordered and the outcome after it was administered or done, so that it shows to the insurance company that you did your due diligence. Again, if you were to get audited and they want the chart notes, which they would, you want to make sure that you're confident that it supports your billing in detail. If you have any questions or comments about this, please leave it in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please share with anybody whom you feel it would benefit. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.